Hi there folks, my name's Ben and welcome to another Shots Fired Airsoft video. And today we're looking at the Colt Junior gas blowback by Cybergun, and this is based on a WE CT25. The reason I ended up with the traded version is because I actually ordered this from KY Airsoft. It's very difficult to find in the UK. At the moment a lot of places are out of stock with the continuing sort of global crisis we have with shipping and all sorts of other stuff, so I ended up buying this from KY Airsoft. Received very good service, and I'd also like to say that they actually gave me a little bit of a discount. I originally ordered the untraded version, i.e. the basic WE CT25, which it turned out they didn't actually have in stock, so they messaged me and said that I could have the upgrade for $5, which represented quite a large saving over buying the Colt Junior, which I believe was about $40 more expensive, which I messaged them back and said, yeah, fantastic, thank you very much. Essentially it's for a review on my Airsoft channel, and they replied and said, well, if you give us a bit of a mention then you can have the upgrade for free. So I still paid for it. It's still my own opinion of the weapon, but in a way this is well, KY Airsoft helped out the channel, which is really nice of them. I'm only small, well, in terms of channel anyway, but it was really nice to receive a bit of love from an airsoft retailer. When it comes to service, KY Airsoft are very courteous with the way they send things out, even down to splitting guns into various parts and then shipping them in separate boxes so they don't get confiscated by customs if you're ordering something that they know is going to be difficult to get into your country. And I will be using them again. They're also very useful for buying individual spares for things that you might not otherwise be able to get anywhere else. A lot of the WE weapons and that are fully available in parts from them, which isn't that common these days. So without further ado, let's have a look at what we get with this tiny little gas blowback pistol. Now, if you're an airsoft collector, this packaging is absolutely wonderful. The box is magnetically held shut. You can see it locked shut like that. We have a beautiful Colt logo on the front, along with a sort of hologram which says Cybergun official on it. And on the back we have a bit of information about what it is, and distributed by Cybergun, and warnings, sort of the usual airsoft warnings you get, and a bit of information on the actual licensing that is applied to this weapon. Apart from that, there isn't too much else going on. So if you open up this lovely box, we have some nice quality foam inside, and then what we're immediately met with is this is your dry fire piece for the magazine. I'll go into this in a bit later, but you can't fire this with the magazine in without any BBs in it, regardless of whether it's cocked or not, and that allows you to fire. And here we have a little pamphlet of instructions. Now, unfortunately, this isn't the best set of instructions in the world that you're going to receive with an airsoft gun. It sort of glosses over numerous parts of the functionality of the weapon. You do actually have how to remove the barrel, and also how to further strip down the weapon, how to fill your magazine with gas and BBs, and that is pretty much it. But so I will go into a bit about this later on. And after that we get on to the beautiful little gun itself, and this would normally come with a magazine out of the gun, but I have taken this out to have a little look before I filmed this video, just so I was absolutely certain how it worked. This is a beautiful little magazine. I believe it holds 6+1, much like the real weapon does, and it actually has quite a large gas capacity. You see on the bottom we have Colt and caliber .25, which is the caliber of the actual weapon. It has a very smooth follower, a tiny little gas router there for the gas to exit, a tiny little valve, and there's no gas in it at the moment, but it is a fantastic little piece of kit. And then the weapon itself, again, beautifully made. It feels very heavy in the hand. You can see there the full trading. It says Colt PTFA MFG company, Hartford, Connecticut, USA, along with the little Colt horse. And it also has the same on the grip guards. You have a unique serial number, and then Colt automatic caliber .25. And that is it for trades, but absolutely worth having the trades. This is a full gas blowback weapon, but again, like I said earlier, or alluded to, it doesn't work quite like a normal gas blowback weapon. So you see that I've racked the slide, the hammer is in the cocked back position, but we cannot fire it. This is not because of a safety, well, it is because of a safety, but it's a safety that's internal to the gun, not something that can be activated or deactivated. If we put the magazine in, we still can't fire the gun, and that is because this will not fire at all unless there are rounds in the magazine. What this ensures is that the slide, although it will not lock back to the rearward position when it is finished firing rounds, what it will do is simply stop you from firing anymore, so you won't be able to release that hammer. The way you get around that is, if you want to fire the gun with no BBs in it, obviously you can get around it by putting BBs in the weapon. It does come with this tiny little piece for dry firing, and what that does is, if we can get this down, it is a bit finicky sometimes, there we are. That will slot in like that and prevent this coming all the way up and engaging the safety on the magazine. And if we pop that back in, we can then fire. So you'll see that hammer has come back up. So that's kind of the slightly odd way that this fires. So again, this slide won't lock back into the position when it is spent or out of rounds. It will simply refuse to drop the hammer, and that's how you know you're out of rounds. Aside from that, this is a very nicely built little replica. To remove the barrel and take the slide off, you have this sort of all-purpose catch here. So if I push this to the rearward position, that is now locked back, and to remove the barrel, you simply twist, pull, and then twist back. That is it. It will come out. Interesting side note: this tiny little gun has a sort of like almost like a direct acting hop. So you screw that in to increase your hop, or screw it out to decrease your hop, and that means that this tiny little weapon will hop massive rounds. Like the transit time is huge, but you could probably get away with sort of 0.36s because this hop is so effective. To then remove the rest of the slide, you can pop that back down, and that allows the slide to come off. And in there we have our beautiful little innards, tiny little gas nozzle, nice recoil rod, and just a side note, when you put this back together into your frame, this recoil rod has to go into the hole underneath the sort of upper part of the frame. And it can be a bit of a fiddle because you have to get that in first and then kind of feel around so you can get it back in. There we are. And then once you've done that, you can bring it back to the rearward position, re-engage your slide lock, and then this is quite finicky to do on camera, but if we pop that in there and a bit more jimmying and prying, there we are, and then twist back to the stop, and it is now back in position. So if I drop that slide lock, it will click back to the forward position, and then we are ready to continue. So there isn't too much more to show on this, it's just a lovely little weapon. There will be a full firing test on this naturally. It does have tiny little iron sights, which are actually quite effective, although, you know, if you're in a combat situation, you're probably not going to take the time to try and find a target through these, they are absolutely tiny. So you probably just pull it out of your pocket and fire. It is, after all, a pocket pistol or a concealed carry. It's a shame it's got that huge Made in Taiwan sticker on it at the moment. So the first thing I should have done when I took it out was take that off. So it really just spoiled the look of the gun. Incidentally, it's quite odd because I'm having to do this really close in front of the camera because of how small the gun is. It's a bit unusual, but I mean, you can see, I mean, I have large hands, but that is a tiny weapon. But actually holding it is quite comfortable. You can get 2 fingers on the handle on that, and the third one just sort of wraps around. But what a cracking little piece of kit. I don't think I've missed any other features of the weapon. I say it's just a very simple little gas blowback replica. So I'm just going to get a scale up and we'll see how much it weighs with a magazine in. Okay, so here we are. We've removed that hideous Made in Taiwan sticker, so you can see it in its full glory. And it's hilarious how huge that sticker was compared to it looks on a sort of normal full-size pistol. But if we pop it on here, you'll see it's actually quite heavy. It's around 303 grams, which for the size of the weapon is quite heavy. It is all metal, apart from the grip plates, which are plastic. But it is a very well built little replica. Something I didn't really point out before was the little mag releases down the bottom here. Push that in and you can just pop the mag out like that. I'm just going to pop a little bit of gas in this mag so you can see it firing. It will be dry firing because we've got dry firing piece in. And we'll save the BB firing for the actual firing test. Okay, so here we are. The replica uses standard green gas. I presume you can use other gases if you so wish, but fill it up like any other gas blowback replica. And that should allow us to fire a few shots. Well, dry fire a few shots anyway. There we are. It's not the loudest thing in the world, but it's got a nice little pop for the size of it. It'll be interesting to see how it fires BBs. One of the crazier things about this is you can actually get all sorts of parts for it, including a threaded barrel, so you can run a suppressor or a tracer on it, which just looks crazy. But the only problem is it does actually stick out the gun about this far because the barrel isn't big enough. Like the actual slide itself isn't big enough to accommodate a 11mm adapter for the silencer. So the other thing I will say about this is apparently it has quite incredible gas capacity. Some of the videos I've seen, people report that they can get almost 30 shots out of that tiny little magazine. So you can refill that mag about 4 times before you actually run out of gas, which is quite impressive. But we'll see that in the firing test. So very much looking forward to getting this on the range. I've been Ben, this has been a Shots Fired Airsoft video. I have another gun to unbox that I think you'll love, and that will be coming as the next video, and then we'll get both of them on the range and have a bit of fun. Right, thank you for watching. Bye now.